What's up, guys? My name is Chris Tutela, alongside my good friend, colleague, creepy co-host,
Ruben Borges. How are you?
And today we have a very special guest on the show,
Justine Fruzzetti.
Justine Fruzzetti, forget about it. And welcome, guys, to episode number 51 of TTS Talk. Justine, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I can't believe you've done this 51 times.
51 times.
This is like
it's a lot of knowing what's up, guys.
We're on
my
Netflix.
God.
This would be season 2.
Not yet. I think once we get a full year on top of that, we got one
season.
more episode, and then it's like season 2 of TTS. So you're right at the tail end of season 1. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
you. Listen, you've been training here for how long now?
Since September.
Okay,
early October, yeah.
Okay, all right. Now we're in December, so it's been a couple of months.
Yes.
Right? And you jumped into one of our trials that we ran, right?
Correct.
The Hot Mommy Makeover program, right?
Yeah.
And at first you were a little skeptical, right?
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell is this crap? I don't trust this guy. Everybody looks weird over there. There's a bunch of meatheads, right?
Yeah, I thought it was not for me.
Okay. But you decided to pull the trigger on it,
Yes.
right? So talk to me a little bit about that. And first, like, what was your experience like walking in here without really knowing what this place was? You see chains hanging, you
Yeah.
see barbells, meatheads, Ruben there, shirtless.
Well, I think the first time I walked in, there was like 4 guys lined up screaming and like throwing something on the ground, and I was like, okay, you know, I honestly thought that I would do the trial, look miraculously beautiful in 4 weeks, and then leave.
Right.
And I was scared. Even the women that I was here with the first time that had been here previously and our members, they were even a little scary.
Yeah.
Because they know what they're doing, and I know none of this.
Right.
None of this.
Right.
I joined when I was in Florida at a pool after a few drinks.
I remember she was messaging me. She's like, I'm a little drunk right now.
I
And I do it.
did.
I was like,
did.
perfect. Sign up. You'll be fine.
I was so hesitant, and I'm like, F it. So I did it, and then I showed up, and then, you know, now here I am, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of go back what you were saying, you know, some of the girls can be intimidating, and not in a sense of like, oh, they're
Yeah.
screaming or anything. It was more of like, man, that girl looks really good. Her
Yeah.
form. She's lifting pretty heavy
It was
weights
serious
there.
weight, yeah.
And it was almost like, you were almost like thinking, all right, I can do that, but can I?
I know.
And sometimes we would kind of throw weight at you, but all right, that was good, look great, let's go again.
Yeah.
Excuse me? And you would give me that look like, should I go up? Absolutely, yeah, you look great to do it.
Yeah.
And you saw your strength gains go up quick here.
Yeah, it's the double edge, because I felt confident coming in because I'm like a bigger girl. I feel like I'm strong, and then I quickly learned that I'm not that strong. But I want to be.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Right.
not yet.
Yeah.
I already feel it. But now I want to lift those heavy weights. I never thought I'd want to do that.
Right. And when you say heavy, it's like just for people watching, like in comparison for you.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's like we're not just making you do something that you're not capable
No.
of handling. We're not saying, Justine, grab those 100s,
No.
take them for a
I
ride.
was doing
right? Like,
8-pound weights at home like this,
yeah.
you know?
Right. So now it's like we push you to 15, 17s,
Yeah.
or move you to a barbell. You're like, what is
Yes.
this?
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. So you're intimidated at first,
Yes.
right? So you come in, and now you're sitting here doing TTS talk.
Yeah.
Months later.
I
So
know.
what changed for you? And like take me through that journey. Like at first you're intimidated, but now you want to lift those heavier weights. Like what kind of goes on in your mind as you're going through this whole process? And what do you see differently now?
Well, I guess I wanted to commit to the first 4 weeks. And as it went on, I don't know what it was, something about not doing cardio. I know that sounds strange, and just concentrating on strength with my legs and my arms. I had never done something like that, and I was really starting to enjoy it. And then if I were to miss a class, because I missed a couple, it was the first time I've ever really felt guilty about missing something.
Right, and that's because you were drunk, right?
Maybe.
She drinks a lot, but it's all right.
But it also has a lot to do with you guys, because if I don't come to class, like he just called me out. He was like, I saw you signing off. And I don't want to hear shit, because I know one of you might text me and say, where are you? What are you doing? Stop drinking, come to class.
Know you too well. It's all about knowing the client.
Yeah. It does feel very personal, which is awesome.
I think also a part of that was, when you come in here, you kind of have like PRs you want to set, you know? You were using 20s last week, let's say, on the floor press, and then that starts to get inside. You're like, all right, I felt great with that. Wow, next week I might be able to go 22s or maybe 25s, and then you miss that day, you're like,
I know.
Dang.
I know.
I kind of want to see where I was at with that. And I know that I'll hear that a lot, especially with the ladies when you start realizing, wow, this getting strong thing is pretty cool.
It is.
You know?
It is. When I did that, what's
trap
the bar?
deadlift. I remember.
I made him film it because I wanted to show my kids.
He did. Yeah.
I did. Oh, I'm like super proud.
Yeah,
I love that.
We were super proud.
I love that.
And that's not a lot. And keep in mind, I had not really watched a lot of other women do that. And then after that, I saw one of the girls in our class. She was like doing like 180. I'm like, shit, I probably shouldn't have filmed that.
No,
It's only
no,
105 pounds. This girl's over here like 180. But I was super, super proud.
Yeah.
I love it.
Amazing.
Master was a beginner once, so like all those girls that are pulling those, heavier weights, they all start in that same level.
And they may have been here for 2 years, 3 years. You know,
Before
we have
they
a lot
even
of people
pull
that have been here for years, right?
Yeah.
So for you to just, and that's one of the messages that we always try to share is like, you got to do your best and what you're capable of and then build upon that. There's always going to be somebody who's stronger, who has more muscle. None of that matters. You got to continuously pursue getting better and developing that sense and just making your own progress.
Yes.
So you start wherever you're at and you're going to build off of that. Not just, hey, go grab those hundreds because Ruben uses them. And then you get crushed, then you get injured.
Yeah.
So let's talk about injuries for a second, 'cause I think that's a misconception out there.
Yes.
That, a lot of women are afraid to lift because they're concerned that they're going to get big, bulky, muscular, or that they're going to get hurt and injured.
Yeah.
What's your experience been like here a couple months now as far as, changes in your physique or anything like that?
Okay, so I haven't lost weight on the scale. And usually if I've been doing something like this, I would be deterred from that. Like it's not working, but it's a totally different thing. Like I definitely see my body shape like changing. Yesterday I was sitting on the couch, I had a tank top on, and my husband was like, "Oh, I'm a little tighter." I'm like, "It does, right?"
Yeah.
And like, it's hard because it's winter, so no one's really seeing.
Right.
And it's good for my mind not to just concentrate on losing weight. I'm doing something. I'm coming here, which is like, first of all, I'm proud of myself.
Hell yeah.
And it may not be the changes that I thought I would see or that I've done in the past, but I'm seeing changes and I'm getting stronger. And I swear I've had a herniated disc in my lower back. I had 2 surgeries on my elbow.
Right.
And I have been in so much less pain since I started this.
Wow.
My back, like no matter what I would do, one like wrong shower of the kids or getting out of bed, once a month my back would hurt. And I haven't had one pain since.
Wow.
And I think it's because of how I'm lifting. You guys don't let me do anything heavier than I should.
That's amazing.
That is great to hear, because that's the whole point, and Coach, where you were saying how women will fear training because of injury. Here you go saying, oh man, I was always had these issues, but because of training, I'm feeling better.
They're so scared. I gotta be honest. I talk to a lot of women and they're like, no, that's not for me. I'm like, I said the same thing.
Right.
Like, I would never do this.
Take the fear out of strength training for all ladies out there. I mean, to take pride in being strong. And Coach and I preach this all the time. You were just talking about that victory you have with the trap bar deadlift. Hey, it may not have been this amazing weight, but taking pride in every small victory that you have in the gym, it has you enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
It becomes fun. It keeps you wanting
it
more.
Was.
Right.
And to move up and try new things. Like, you felt I was ready for that. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it was like a big deal. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm going there.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's also the thing too, is like when you have an injury, a pre-existing injury, like a lower back injury or a shoulder injury, a lot of people have, or knees, and they'll say, oh, I can't train because I have this. But that's the exact opposite of the way you should be doing, because you have to strengthen the entire chain. The reason that you've had that pain was because of a lack of mobility, right? And a lack of strength, a lack of stability because of not training. So we have to get everything around the injury strong. We have to be smart about it, but that's where we come in. And we're gonna work, we're gonna make sure you're doing something that's not gonna make the injury worse. We're not gonna get you hurt. We're gonna make sure you're doing things correctly and moving well. But that's what is gonna help us eventually get you out of pain, hopefully, depending on the issue, of course, but it can't work miracles. But get you out of pain, but also prevent future injuries from happening. Because most of the time, injuries happen because of everything I just mentioned. There's a lack of stability in a joint. There's a mobility issue, like you're super tight, the muscles are locked up, you're in pain, get out of bed and you're tight. Or just a lack of strength, right? And now you get hurt because you're making a bed, and it's like, oh, I was lifting up the mattress to make the bed, and my back went out. Right? Yeah. You're compensating, and that's how you get hurt. So I'm so glad to hear that you're out of pain now.
I am.
Awesome.
It's like this form of physical therapy in a sense.
That's amazing.
When I had to pitch my husband on why I had to join, it was 3 things, and it was because it feels good, like I'm getting stronger, I can feel it. Get my aggression out. I have 2 small kids. They drive me nuts. So it's nice to get out, listen to loud music, not be surrounded by, a bunch of 50 girls like doing Zumba dancing. Like I want to do something. And was physical therapy.
Right.
Because I said I haven't felt, even my elbow, I'm doing things that I never thought I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were tentative too in the beginning because
I was very scared.
We had a floor press which would allow less stress in the joints, but you were like, "Whoa, remember my elbow?"
I know.
You kept telling me, "Remember my elbow." I'm like,
Because that's the worst pain.
We're progressing in. I think after about 2-3 weeks of that, you definitely put your trust in us, and now you're feeling better, which is okay. We want that too. Ask us questions. Ask us why. Is this okay because of this? And we love to answer that. To go back a little bit, you were talking about your progress, because this happens with a lot of ladies. Their measure of progress is the weight scale. It's always a number, and it's hard for them when they listen and when we say, "Hey, your best way for progression and to see how your progress is one, maybe it's a before and after picture, seeing how you were and then how now, because that body compositional change will be huge. And to help with that also is what other people say, your spouse, your friends, like, whoa, Justine, you're looking great. I mean, I think it's just the number one way. And then behind that is, how's your strength? Are you getting stronger? Yes. And then third could be the most important, arguably, how's your confidence? I feel great.
Exactly.
Right.
Awesome.
Energy.
Great way.
Energy. How's all that stuff?
Yes.
Like that's progress.
Right.
100%.
Not what a number says.
I never went to a class at 8:15 at night in my life. Like you could never get me out of the house, and I do it now. It's weird. It's definitely been an experience, and I feel like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, you've been there this long. You're not 10 pounds lighter," and you really got to do it to
understand that, right? And people don't understand too, like there's no program that's going to be this miracle thing, like to get ripped abs. Like that's going to come from consistent strength training, consistent nutrition, consistent sleep habits, right? Like good sleep habits, recovery, like those things take time. But like you said, the scale is not the only way to gauge and measure progress. Like you're progressing, you're getting stronger, you're feeling better, you have more confidence. Like you said, you get that stress and aggression out. If you're stressed out all the time, what do you think that does to your health, right? Cortisol levels are through the roof. So if you have something where you could come train to help you reduce those levels of stress and feel good about yourself, and have a community and have people that you could trust and talk to, those are things that will change your life. You can't just look at, oh, well, this number didn't move. Like, because at that point, it's like, well, if that's the goal in the future, we'll get that number down. But it's not. That doesn't have to be the only way to determine, hey, was this successful or not? Because, like we said, your back doesn't hurt anymore. Getting you out of pain, improving the quality of your joints. Your husband saying, "Oh, look at those!
You wait a minute,
22-inch python." Right? Now, speaking of that, so. Another thing we touched on was that lifting weights is going to make women bulky.
Yeah.
You've been weightlifting now, throwing some weights around for the last couple months.
No.
Do you look like Ronnie Coleman?
No.
Okay. Do you look like Ruben? No, right? That doesn't happen.
Thank God.
Hey! We didn't ask you to insult the guy.
You bust my chops enough. No, not at all. It's in fact the opposite. I was worried about that too. I mean, because I'm not a small girl, so I was scared that I would get bigger. But instead, it's I'm getting tighter and less. I think we were in class the other day. I was like, I waved at somebody and my arm wasn't moving as much.
That brought up a whole big discussion.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have.
Me too.
I know, and I'm only 36, so I really hopefully can, because it gets older, it gets worse as you get older. But hopefully, I'm just gonna fix it for the future as well. Because I was on a path where I could have gotten really unhealthy.
Right.
But I don't feel any bigger. And I haven't weighed myself in a while.
Right.
And I think that's part of the mentality too, which is nice, is that I don't feel like I have to.
Right.
I feel like I'm making progress.
Awesome.
I feel like I'm getting to class. I feel like I'm doing everything I can right now at like my best without getting on the scale and judging that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you said. You said you were going down a dark path for health and fitness and whatever else. Explain that. What was going on?
Well, I started a new job the same time I started this, escapology.
Shout out.
And I started this, and before I started this, and it was just my life, my kids, work, eating late. I wasn't eating all day, and I would eat late at night, and then to relieve stress, I would have a couple glasses of wine, and I just wasn't really caring anymore. And I always cared about what I looked like, and so to let myself go and not give a shit, I was starting to get worried.
Right.
So that's why when I was sitting in Florida and I felt so uncomfortable, and I was under the influence, but I felt so uncomfortable in my
17
bathing suit
margaritas.
that I said I have to do something now, because it's just going to get worse, and it's
Right.
just going to take that much longer to get healthier.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it's a blessing.
So you pulled the trigger on it. You just weren't feeling yourself. You
No,
felt like
yeah.
I was going down this road that it wasn't going to take me to the life that I want, the way I want to feel, the way I want to present myself.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going the opposite direction.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let me change something.
Yeah, I felt to the point where I was so uncomfortable in my own skin. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and when I first came here, I said, because the schedule's different than anything I've ever done. And I'm like, I'll never be able to get there on time. Like, I was legit 4 weeks out.
Right.
And I was able to make the class work. And I know it's only a matter of 15 minutes, but 45 minutes compared to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just something about it makes it feel quicker. I'm home quicker.
Busy moms. That's why we made the program shorter
Yeah.
too, to help you guys out.
It helps.
'Cause a lot of moms have busy schedules with soccer games and
Yeah.
football games and basketball and this and that and dance and travel and this and work and your husband and social life, and you got all these things going on. So yeah, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they have to spend 3 hours in a gym
I
in
know.
order for it to be
see
effective.
results.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
I
That
do
could
like
actually
that.
be counterproductive,
Yeah.
right? So making sure that you come in, it's effective and it's efficient. Like you come in, you go through your warm up, we address your mobility issues, we get you warmed up, primed, ready for what we're doing that day.
Yeah.
Then we get into the exercises, what we're doing for that specific day. You warm up for them, you train, you go home, right? And we do it 3
Very
days a week,
simple, yeah.
right? And you make more progress that with a real program and structure and science behind it, right?
Yes.
And just logic behind it, rather than just saying, let me just go to the gym on my own wing and I'll go run on the treadmill for a
I
while.
know.
And then how long does that last? You're bored out of your
I
mind.
know.
Because people will say, oh, I can pay $10 a month to go to Retro Fitness. Or, sorry, Retro Fitness. whatever gym, right? But people will say, I could do that and pay $20 a month. But yeah, you could.
Yeah.
But it's a very different thing, right? It's a
So
very different thing. Like, so it's not just a gym membership. Like, you're here training in a community with structure and all this stuff. Which also, listen, you're not a fitness professional, right? Like, you're not in this industry. Like, that's what I tell people all the time. You got enough stuff going on in your own life to worry about, like, how do I program properly? What should I be doing? What type of volume should I be
That's
doing?
true.
How should I periodize this? Like, you don't want to.
No.
You don't even give a shit about that, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't. So let other people do that
That's
for
right.
you
I
who
like the
are
routine.
professionals, right?
I like-
You just show up, we tell you what to do,
Yeah.
and you do it, right?
That's it.
Yeah,
I do like that. And
Yeah.
it is nice. You don't really have to think about anything.
right,
Just write down what I'm doing so I can remember for the next time.
right.
And even the first few weeks when I was here and I was like so obsessed with cardio, I'm like, how am I not doing cardio? I was like, is it all right if I go home and run right now? You were like, no, do not run right now. Because it would be, I guess, counterproductive,
Well,
or that I had gotten my exercise in for that time. You told me to run maybe before. You made me do 20 mountain climbers, so 3
I
sets
wanted to
of
feel
it.
good. I was like, I'm gonna feel good.
I
Go
know.
3 sets 30 right now.
And everyone's leaving, and I'm like, okay.
Climb the mountain.
Yeah. But you're not like, go home and run 2 miles.
Right.
So it's
And it was also like, and Coach, I think you to touch up on this too, the reason behind it was almost like that mindset we wanted to kind of get away. Like, I just worked out here, I got to do more, whoa. And that's how you kind of almost fry yourself out mentally.
Yes.
You got your work in.
Yes.
Awesome. Feel confident about that. There's success and there's progress coming from that.
Yeah.
Most people, they look at things like, and they want to go from 0 to 100. Like you said, you were drinking 27 margaritas sitting on the pool in Florida.
Yes.
She started training here, and then she's like, you know what?
Wait a minute.
I gotta go run 2 miles. I gotta do this. I got the next Richard Simmons DVD that I just bought on QVC, and I'm ready to go. I was like, whoa.
I love that. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, hold on.
I know.
But I think that's
I'm in the zone.
which is great. But it's also an important message, because what did we tell you? Like, just piece by piece.
Yes.
We did the same thing with your diet. I'm like, don't try to change everything overnight. Understand that getting stronger, getting leaner, changing body composition, all of this stuff it's a progress, or it's a process, I should say, right? Where we have to progress little by little in changing lifestyle habits. So you coming here for 3 times a week. That's a lifestyle change in itself. So you don't want to overwhelm yourself and say, all right, I got to do this 3 times a week, and I got to do that another times a week, and then I got to change my diet, I got to change my sleep patterns, I got to reduce my stress, I got to punch Ruben in the teeth. You got all these different things that you add to your to-do list.
I know.
Well, that's why I like Bruce Lee, and I love his philosophy. It makes me, because I have a crazy psychotic brain, if you haven't known by now.
Do you?
No, just a little bit. But I have to calm myself down. So like simplicity and hacking away at all the stuff that's not essential, right? The most important phase of fitness is making sure that we're addressing proper strength training.
Yeah.
We're doing that for you here. And that right there is a lifestyle change. We're adding this good habit that's aligned with your goals, is going to help you for all the reasons that we just mentioned. So if we're adding that, why overwhelm you with 100 other different things, right? And now, how has your nutrition been since? Like, is there one thing that you've changed that you've been working on?
I avoided your nutrition call for like 3 weeks.
She did. She put it off.
Can't next week. Next week. Next week.
She's like, yeah, no, I sneezed today. I can't do your call. I was like, all right.
I have changed 2 things.
Okay.
And after the new year, I have more plans.
Sure.
I started eating breakfast, which I never did. And you said, you're like, just pick one thing and do that this week.
Yeah.
So I went out and bought protein shake.
Right.
And I started having one for breakfast. And then you said, when I'm hungry at night, have one at night. So not religiously at night doing it, but every single morning, that's the first thing I do. And it definitely helps, because sometimes I'm going till 4 o'clock with no food, and then I'm starving.
And that's a lot easier to say, like, oh, pizza.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And when I come home from, if I do a night class, I don't have that feeling that I want to eat something or even drink something. I feel good about myself. I don't want to ruin it. But I do want to get more into nutrition, but I do love the aspect of not changing everything. I've done every eating plan you can imagine, and it's like tomorrow you start, you cut out all drinking, you cut out dairy, you only eat vegetables. Like, it's just your whole life gets flipped upside down.
Right.
And this, I'm kind of just working it into my everyday life now.
Right. Which is awesome, because that's how we create sustainable change. Like, I firmly believe that. Like, if you try to do everything, so like, even if you see some type of short-term result. Like, let's say you do a crazy crash diet for 30 days. Could you lose a bunch of weight on the scale? Of course you could. Is that sustainable? Is that something that you're going to do for the rest of your life? How many times have you seen, or maybe even done, I don't know, that yo-yo dieting where you crash diet, gain it back. Crash diet, gain it back, right? Most people have that. And that's the whole idea. That's the message that we're trying to spread here, is like, that's not the way to do it. Like, let's do this sustainably, intelligently. Let's make a small change. Let's build upon that. Like, and you doing the breakfast thing, I didn't even know that. That's fantastic. So congratulations.
Thanks. I'm eating breakfast.
Yeah.
So proud of myself.
Small wins.
It is. Listen, exactly. Small wins.
Yeah.
Right in there. That's fine. And then, like Coach is saying, you're just going to build from that.
I know you guys know what you're talking about, so I'm just going to let you tell me what to do.
That's
Which is rare.
I need more women to say that out there.
My husband's
not just fitness related. They gotta just start listening.
You're going to watch it like, that's absolute bullshit.
Only you guys. Only you.